Welcome. If you're gearing up for a commodity manager interview, you're in the right place. Today, we'll dive into some key questions you might face and how to handle them with confidence. Let's kick things off with a classic negotiation scenario. Can you share an experience where you successfully negotiated a contract with a supplier? This question aims to uncover your negotiation skills and how effectively you can secure favorable outcomes for your company. Here are some tips to help you craft a strong response. Think of a specific negotiation from your past. Discuss your preparation and research before entering negotiations. Reveal the strategies you utilize to achieve a win-win result. Highlight the positive outcome and benefits to your organization. Reflect on lessons learned from the experience. Now, let's take a look at an example answer.
In my previous role, I negotiated a contract with a critical supplier for raw materials. I started by analyzing market rates and competitor contracts to prepare thoroughly. During negotiations, I focused on a win-win approach, emphasizing mutual benefits. This strategy led to a 10% cost reduction while maintaining quality standards for our materials.
By the way, we're only covering a handful of questions in this video, but I've prepared a free PDF with all 30 top interview questions for Commodity Manager. It also includes example answers and tips to help you prepare with confidence. The download link is just below. Can you give an example of how you've worked with other departments to enhance the commodity procurement process? Interviewers ask this to gauge your teamwork and collaboration skills across different departments. Consider these pointers when formulating your answer. Identify the specific departments you collaborated with. Define the clear goal of your collaboration. Share the improvements achieved or outcomes. Use specific metrics or examples to support your story. Keep your response concise and relevant to the position. Here's how you might structure your response.
In my last role, I teamed up with the production and finance departments to streamline our procurement process. Our goal was to reduce costs by 10%. By jointly analyzing inventory levels and demand forecasts, we negotiated better contract terms with suppliers, achieving a 15% cost reduction.
Describe a tough decision you've made in commodity management and the outcome of that decision. This question is designed to assess your decision-making skills, especially under challenging circumstances. Here are some tips to help you frame your answer. Choose a specific decision related to cost savings or supply risk. Explain the situation clearly and why it was challenging. Discuss the options you considered and the reasoning behind your choice. Share the outcome, including any metrics or success achieved. Reflect on what you learned from the experience. Let's see an example of how to answer this question.
In my previous role, I faced a tough decision when the price of a key raw material spiked unexpectedly. I decided to lock in a supplier at a higher price to ensure continuity of supply, fearing production would halt otherwise. This move allowed us to maintain operations and even pass some costs to customers, leading to a 15% rise in customer satisfaction due to improved product availability.
What steps would you take if a key supplier suddenly failed to deliver a critical commodity? This question evaluates your ability to handle supply chain disruptions effectively. Here's how you can approach your answer. Start by assessing the impact on operations. Communicate with affected stakeholders to align on urgency. Identify alternative suppliers or sources. Implement a mitigation plan with short and long-term solutions. Monitor the situation and adjust your plan as needed. Consider this example response.
First, I would assess the impact on our production timelines. Then I'd communicate with my team and other departments to understand our immediate needs. Next, I'd research and reach out to alternative suppliers to meet our requirements. A solid mitigation plan would be developed, engaging these alternatives while negotiating with the original supplier for updates. I'd continuously monitor the situation and adapt our strategy as necessary.
How would you handle a situation where a supplier raises their prices beyond what was initially agreed upon in the contract? This is asked to assess your conflict resolution skills and ability to manage unexpected changes in supplier agreements. Here are some tips for crafting your response. Review the contract terms for any clauses on price adjustments. Communicate with the supplier to understand their reasoning. Negotiate using data on market prices or alternative suppliers. Consider the impact on your budget and explore alternatives. Decide on a course of action. Accept, negotiate further, or terminate. Here's an example of how you might respond.
I would first review the contract to check for any clauses regarding price changes. Then, I'd set up a meeting with the supplier to discuss their reasoning. If the price increase seemed unjustified, I'd negotiate based on current market conditions and explore other supplier options.
Before we wrap up, remember you can get all 30 questions, example answers, and step-by-step tips in a handy PDF. Totally free, just grab it below.